It's with the uh, threat of sounding xenophobic or racist. I saw some real
Uh-oh.
Taiwanese shit the other day. But like one of them was get in line. One of them
Uh-huh.
was watch where you're going. And the other one
Hmm.
was stop speeding through a fucking red light.
Mm.
Like stop instead.
Yeah.
I was like, so I was on my U-bike going home, and I was like, there's no spaces here. So like, I was going back, and I gave the Mayo sign to, like there's no spaces here to a high school kid who was also on a bike that lives in my building, and I was like, there's nothing there. So no big deal. Went to the other side of the park because there's always a place there, huge station.
Hmm.
And then I went over there, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And there was also no things. So on the way back, I see the same person doing the same thing I was,
Right.
and I gave her the same sign. But by the time I got to the other end, somebody showed up with their card, and they were like getting a bike. And I was like, oh, here we
Okay.
go. Turned around, and I was just waiting for him to pull out,
Hmm.
And she pulled up like right behind him, and I looked at her, and I was like, no, 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 no. Pai Dui, get in
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
I was here
yeah.
first.
Uh-huh.
Even though she's like a high school kid or whatever, I was like, no,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. This is the teaching moment. Get in
Hmm.
fucking line.
Hmm.
So she was like, okay, 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 with a big old smile. So I start pulling in, and what she does is goes 90 degrees into the fucking road. And then what I hear while I'm putting my bike into the thing is, "Meh, meh, 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 meh,
Oh
meh, 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 meh."
God.
And there's a car going way too fast through the fucking light. And they slowed down enough, and she was still looking this way. They barely touched, but it
Hmm.
was enough to turn the front tire, and she fell down
Sure.
very gently,
Yes.
so she was fine. It's
Yep.
like she
Yep.
sat down, kind of. And it was just like, come on, man, just all the shit we kind of try to teach our kids, like watch where you're
I
going,
see
one,
everything you
wait
everything
your
you just
turn,
described. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see this every single day
and
down
stop
here. Every
speeding
day.
through lights for fuck's
Hmm.
sake. And it's that happened yesterday, and it was just like, man, like what are we doing? Like we're trying
Yeah.
to teach them, but they're just not picking it
Yep.
up.
Nope. Nope.
But what can you do? Just keep
Nothing.
repeating yourself for the millionth time, and then maybe
Live.
eventually,
Try to be better. That's all. Try to
yeah,
be better.
including us,
Hmm.
as we are.
Uh-huh.
Well, hey, dude, we're on the internets for the first time
Hey,
in
are we
like
back?
3 weeks. I know. I
Woo!
feel a little,
Welcome back.
feel a little out of place.
It's a little bit weird. Hey, I'm supposed to say something here, aren't I?
Yeah. Do you remember what it is?
Hey, welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben and Gao Sheng.
Man, you nailed that. I'm not Tim and Kaohsiung. I'm Tim and Taichung.
I'm Tim and Taiwan. Yeah, and we're Critters in Taiwan. Woohoo!
Two of them.
It's been a while. Hey man, it's been 3 weeks. So
Yeah, I know.
So in that 3 weeks, we could have done one. We decided not to. There was the Mighty Nine, Echoes of the Solstice.
Yep.
The live show in the UK.
Yep.
In London, specifically at Wembley Stadium.
Stadium or
Arena.
one of them's the tennis one. One of
Yeah.
them's the.
Yeah. One of them's the arena, the other's the Wembley Stadium is the big one.
But these
That's
two stupid North Americans, we don't know the difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The stadium is the big one. The arena is the small one.
Which is crazy because
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
comedians, arenas
Yeah.
are always the big ones.
Yeah, usually. I mean, it depends. Like
huge, like a
Coldplay
football stadium. Fuck.
World Game Stadium is down here, right? And Coldplay played this past weekend at the Kaohsiung World Game Stadium, and there was
Right.
80,000 people there.
I heard it was 50 inside, but 30 outside.
Outside, yeah.
Just last night, I was talking to a
Yep.
couple of people that went there.
Wild.
Like
Wild.
capacity is 50,000 inside, but
Yeah,
30,000 people were outside. Just
80,000 people were there.
no speakers,
Crazy.
just outside.
Yep.
People were set up
Yep.
with their.
I'm gonna say that Coldplay is not my jam. They're just it's kind of sad music. I find it's just a little bit too much of a downer for me.
I really
So I
like
don't
their
partic-
music, but it's
Yeah.
I'm more of the propaganda, punk rock and happy, fun rock shit. But
Yes.
I would have loved to be that.
Yeah, I
show.
would have loved to have been there too. But I saw people's videos and I'm like, yeah, it looks like a really good time. It's just not my kind of music.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. It is my kind of music, but just not my number one choice. You know.
Okay, it's not for me.
I would have loved to have been there. I would have been crying at big shows. I cry.
Well,
At
they
the
had-
NoFX show, I was crying.
Yeah,
And then I got into the pit and I stopped crying.
Yeah, then you started crying for a different reason. So tonight we're talking about episode number 77,
which is called
The Promise and the Price.
The Promise and the Price.
Listen, man, there's two distinct parts to this episode. So
we're also going to talk about the live episode
and the price. Oh, should we do that first?
Yeah. I don't have any points written down for it, but I did just finish listening to it for the second time.
Okay.
And
I got a couple of things to say.
And I've got.
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay. Let's
before
give the people what they want.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Let's give the people what they want.
Oh, sure. Yeah, by viewer request. No, I wasn't going to say viewer. I was going to say by fan request.
There we go.
We're going to talk about the live show. Because like we discussed, you and me, Ben, discussed maybe doing an episode of this for the live thing.
Yeah.
But two things where we're like, well, we don't have a ton of notes. And for number two, it would set the numbers off from campaign 3.
Meh.
So we're like, okay, yeah, all right. Let's just wait.
Yeah.
And then we got Candela Obscura the next week, which both of us are not big fans of.
And,
I'm sure it's great, but it's just not for us.
And they're doing another one, a third one too. This is one I might give a little gander at because it's Abria Iyengar as the GM, and I know this is the kind of game that she's gonna really probably excel at. It'll be all kinds of fun nonsense and hilarity. And Sam and Liam are involved, and that's always a good time. So
that's a good plus. Yeah,
I'm like, there's a couple of I might give this one a gander, but again, yeah, like you said, it's not my jam, not yours. So it's whatever.
Yeah,
it is what it is. It's all good.
Like, we don't want to sit here and talk about something that's not our jam. No, we're going to sit here and talk about something that is our jam.
Yeah, that's right.
That should go without
which
saying.
Which is what we should talk about right now.
Exactly.
Okay, so are we doing? Do we do rollies? Or you just want to go?
No, let's just discuss this. We've got rollies for the actual campaign thing.
I got one thing to say. 12,500. That's what I got to say. This is the biggest crowd they've ever seen. So this was a big deal. It was cool.
And they were in theaters across North and South America. So maybe 50,000?
Who knows? Yeah,
who knows?
More.
You know, or maybe not that much, but whatever. Biggest show they've ever had. And it didn't seem like it. Nobody seemed nervous, except maybe a little Ashley. Ashley threw out a couple of jokes that were kind of flops.
Yeah. Did you see that moment right at the very beginning when the entire audience? Did you watch it or did you listen to it?
The second time I watched it.
Okay. So yeah. The moment when they all pulled out the Sam masks and the entire
were they
audience
Sam or Liam's? I couldn't tell from my phone.
It was Sam.
There were Sam masks.
Some critter brought a suitcase to the front door, and as people were walking in, he gave them all Sam masks with instructions written on the back that at this point when they say the thing to everybody wear the mask. So nobody except for the critters knew about it. So they all took they all like 3, 2, 1 and they all put the masks on at the same time.
Right after the intro.
Right after the intro, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was amazing.
And I couldn't tell, like even with my phone, I'm sitting there like, take the glasses off. I'm like, I couldn't tell if it was Sam or Liam.
Sam. Yeah, he had one later. Somebody gave him one later in the thing. He posted a picture on Twitter about it.
Oh, there you go. Instagram. See, I'm not on the twits, so yeah. I don't see that kind of shit.
X, I believe it's called now.
Yeah. Then Liam was like, I've had either dreams or nightmares about it. I don't remember which one he said. But yeah, what a move, because you gotta create 100 of those. Imagine the work that goes into that.
100.
What a fan!
Like several thousand of them.
I mean, yeah, you must have a team doing this,
or just print it out. Just went to a print shop and be like, I need 12,500 of these. What a move! Like that print shop guy's going, what? Okay.
Unless they were a critter too, and they'd be like, "Oh, nice move."
Yeah. Or maybe the guy that owns the print shop is like, "I'm going to do this thing."
But they also had eye holes, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's like they must have an eye hole punch or
Sure,
something instead of
sure.
going in with scissors. Nobody's doing that with scissors. Fuck
Nope.
no. Or maybe like a
Nope.
whole press for the whole thing. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, that was a hell of a
Logistics.
move.
Yeah, it was a cool move. So listen, you go first. What did you like about the show?
All right. Well, first thing I liked about it was the fact that we got one. You know, after so long with COVID and all that shit.
4 years.
It's the first one we've had in such a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so we're gonna get fan service, of course, because it's the Mighty Nine, both of our favorite campaigns so far, and it was fantastic. And I liked how it opened up with a comedian set. That was great because I'm all about comedy. That's the only reason I have Netflix is to watch comedy specials. You know, and I don't know who this Daniel guy was. I don't even know his last name.
Yeah,
but he was great. He was
great.
Fantastic, and apparently a critter and a gamer.
And he got to sit down in the show and play a quick little throwaway one-shot character. It was a brilliant move. Yeah, all around brilliant move.
How did you feel about his appearance at the table? His role in the whole thing?
It was shades of Chris Perkins with in campaign 2 with Spurt. Yeah, exactly. There was some fun. There was a fun bit of that, and I could feel that. I'm like, there's no way he's getting a full role here, and
because of his choices.
Yeah, because of number one, not even before he started making choices. Okay. I was like, yeah, this is not a fully fleshed out character. This is just a thrown together sort of a monk, a dwarven drunken master monk. That's nobody's going to play one of those. It's going to be too complicated, too difficult. So I was like, this is going to be quick. And it was sure enough. And then he starts making the choices. He just starts burning through doors and burning through traps and starts,
and by recommendation of these level 20
level
characters
20.
saying, hey, be careful.
Level 20.
And he's like, nope, I'm just going forward. At that point, I'm like, okay, this is definitely going to be a short-lived thing.
Yep.
You know, it was no surprise when if you don't know already, spoilers everywhere.
Everybody, whatever, talking about it at this point.
It was no surprise that he was going to fucking die pretty quick.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a quick second here. These are the last time we saw the Mighty Nine was the Ukatoa 2-shot. And so we get them, and they were 16 there or 17.
I believe 17.
Yeah, so they've three levels more. They're all level 20. And it's so this is something different. Remember a couple weeks ago we talked about this and we said, what are they going to be doing? When are they going to be coming in? And we got that answered as well. And what's going to have been happening
right
with
away
them in this time? Is Matt going to be briefing them? Are they going to be doing all this? And clearly, show is unscripted, but there was a script behind this one because
there were some behind the scenes things. Yeah,
there has to be for a thing like this. Number one, it's the first live show in years, right? So they're going to have to be on their best game. So they're going to fly through it. They're going to be if you don't mind if I jump in.
Continue,
like this,
please.
The biggest part that I liked about this show was that they clearly knew what they were doing. They clearly had been collaborated with all of this stuff, especially with Matt. And as Matt starts throwing things at them, they followed perfectly. They entirely followed. They followed every plot hook,
especially right in the beginning.
That's what it is, and that's what we got to do. Okay, boom, that's where we're going. Yeah. Oh, the DM said, "You see this? Okay, we go there." They're just like they were just following the hook, line, and sinker all the way through.
Yeah,
and it's like. This is the first live show in front of a huge audience. You have to do it that way. And there can't be any conflicts. There has to be just straight up fun, and there can't be any rule lawyering. There can't be any of that stuff. It's just go and just go and just go and just go and action. Mm-hmm. And I think the first half was 100% that. I think what happened is after the break, they calmed down a little bit. The adrenaline started wearing off, and the second half was a little bit more rational.
It was more real. It was more like a D&D table instead of just like, hey, here's some fan service.
Here we go, here we go. Right. So the energy flow was high, and then plateaued and dipped a little bit, but it was still at a good level for the second half. So yeah.
The battle was better than I remembered it the first time. Like the first time I went through, I was getting lost. Not lost. I was getting my attention was waning a bit.
Yes.
During the first time I watched the second half,
There's
but I just finished the second half again for this second time, and I was like, oh, actually that was pretty good.
Super common for level 20 mythic battles. Mythic combat is not that exciting. It's pretty. It's.
I'm not sure what that means.
Level 20. When you're level 20 or above, they call that mythic, and at that point, everything become. Well, you're basically gods at that point, right? And golden gods. You're right. So it's tough because the DM is throwing super high level CR, like super high CR baddies at you, but it doesn't really matter because you're level 20.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but Jester, for them, the first time with these characters.
Yes, agreed. But they prepped this. They know what they're going to do. Cad and Jester are both just instantly going, 100%
divine intervention.
Divine intervention.
Yeah, because that's what you get at 20.
Boom.
Which is insane.
Caleb, 9th level wish. Oh, guess what I'm going to use it for? A full simulacrum as a fucking dragon. Like this is there's no DM, there's no CR high enough that can, other than even that party could even take on a Charask at that point. Like they could. It's like this, and that's the top number 1 baddie in D&D.
The fated Jurassic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you still could do that. It wouldn't be, it's not out of the question. So it's pretty hard for Matt to sort of give them anything challenging, and therefore the combat suddenly becomes a little meh.
Yeah, it becomes a little trivial, perhaps. Yeah.
That being said, this is a live one-shot with our beloved Mighty Nine, so nothing is meh about it. Everything is amazing about it. So it's fun to watch, and it's. I was laughing. I had a great time.
I had a great time. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, especially the second time. It's always the second time that I really enjoy it more.
It's when because that's when you're not as focused on the big details and you're paying attention to the little things.
Yeah.
You're looking at the little action, the reactions, and the other rest of the cast. What are they saying? What are they doing? What are they thinking?
Yeah, and again, massive spoilers. I'm gonna eventually stop saying that. I've started saying it again. I just
you just leave it alone.
Like when it reminds me of, I believe it was the search for Bob, not the search for Grog, where Travis rolled 2 nat 20s in a row, but they weren't related to each other.
No.
It was like he rolled this one, and he was like, nat 20. And they're like, wow! Because it was amazing. It was a huge thing for like maybe him to come back. I don't remember what the fuck it was. And then the second one, he was like,
remember that, yes.
He did it again, which made it fucking... It made a huge difference in the end of that story. Same thing happened here. I don't... It's crazy how this happens, Because like that nat 20 that Beauregard rolled, at the end of this one, Matthew didn't even say like what happened. He was like, you know what, just take it. Like this is the end of this battle. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, that that's great for a one shot. Perfect. They are also level 20, so fuck it.
Yeah. He pulled a weird move on. I'm just gonna say there was a thing that stuck out at me with Bo that Matt did against her that kind of struck me as odd, and it wasn't just me because I read about it later on in the threads and stuff. The move where the big Titan, whatever it was called, I don't remember, the demon, whatever it is.
It was a familiar name, actually.
Yeah, it was. And I wish
Geladon.
No, that was the dragon. That's the dragon.
Oh, that's the name of the dragon?
That's what Caleb turned into. Caleb turns into Geladon, or he's Simulacrum, or he turns in, I forget. There's two dragons, whatever it was. That wish spell is ridiculous.
One was the T-Rex was the Simulacrum.
Right, that's right, and he turns into the dragon. So there's a T-Rex and Geladon, the Nightmare in Ivory.
Yes.
Then there's but Bo does Sentinel on the Titan, right? And Matt's like, tell me how you stop this thing from moving. And there's a moment there. Yeah, it's a great way to say it. And you're like, yeah, of course. A human can't stop this thing. That's insanity.
Yeah.
But there's so a couple of quick things about it, and I know this is slightly pedantic, and I apologize if
Hey,
it
that's what
comes
we're here
off
for,
that
man.
way. But there is a thing here. If you watch anime like The Last Airbender, or you watch like any even Dragon Ball Z, when these really
One
really
Punch
high
Man, Hunter by
powerful,
Hunter, whatever the fuck is called.
sure, all those like Bleach or Naruto or whatever, any of those things, any of those crazy animes, you watch them and you're like, right, the characters in those do these things all the time. Sentinel fits in at this moment. You're like, you're trying to get away from me? Lockdown. You could have done it away like Bo could have like done this wicked thing with her staff where she pins the Titan's foot to the ground and it tries to move and stutters and can't. Just for that instant, which is enough to stop it from taking its next step forward. It's enough. Now, that being said, that's
Matthew
an easy
gave
way.
her the option. Like, tell me how you stop
Tell
this
me
thing.
right.
Yeah.
But it was okay, yes, but it was said very sarcastically, like that you can't do that. It's impossible. So tell me how you do it. No, so Marisha could have said that. Well, this is how Bo does it, and then Matt would have been forced to reckon with it, but she didn't, because it was said in the tone that no, that's impossible.
Right.
There's a better
he
way.
might have said you can certainly try, which
Yes.
he's very famous for saying.
There's a much even a better way of doing that, and that is that this specific monster has a what is that oh damn it, I should have written this down. There is a it's not pass without a trace. It's the one where you can't be grappled. You're
freedom of movement.
Thank you. There it is. Freedom of movement. This thing has a freedom of movement feat built into it, where it cannot be stopped, it cannot be grappled. And Matt could have been just like, instead of giving that little bit of a snarky, tell me how you stop it. No, it's like
I really liked it though.
Your sentinel feat in this situation, as you try to engage it, the monster just passes right through it. Yeah. Like, or something to that effect, where it's like, oh, Sentinel won't work on this thing. Not that I can't do it. It's that it's immune to it. It's a much better, classier, in my opinion, classier way to do it. But listen, that's all. That's all. I just want to say that quick little thing.
Is that what Sentinel is? It grapples them for a moment?
It does. It holds them back.
The technical terms for it? What's going on there?
It's the Sentinel feat reduces their speed to 0.
Until the start of
as a reaction, you reduce their speed to 0 until the start of the other person's next turn. The start of that whoever that does the sentinel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Because they move and what? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they use their reaction to take an attack of opportunity, and the sentinel feat kicks in to stop them. So it's really left up to the PC or the NPC, the character, and whoever it may be, to RP that out. Whether it's like you hook their leg and they stumble, you pin them, you horse collar them.
Titanic being, how is a human gonna do this?
We've watched anime like that before. Like I was envisioning, like some spirit, like it's a 20th level monk. So it's like it's summoning all of your chi into a strike into the ground that pins their foot to the ground and causes them to stumble and unable to be moved.
Yeah.
Like stepping on a piece of glue or some chewing gum, something like that.
Yeah. Or something that distracts them. They're like, what?
Sure.
And then they don't take that step forward that moment.
Mm-hmm. That's my point. And I get it. I get it that Matt doesn't want that to happen. And I understand that, but there's a better way to do it than just being kind of snarky and saying, nope.
Yeah. Well, on the spot though, what
I guess so. It wasn't the only one that thought that. I also felt that was I read on the internet that there was other people were like, yeah, there's better ways to do that, but that's just nitpicky, and it's, like I said, slightly pedantic. So whatever.
I liked it, frankly. Tell me how you stop this giant thing. Yep. That's true. And I was thinking oh shit, Sentinel, like you can't move. And then my first thought was he was like, oh, but no, this thing's gonna move forward because I need to railroad this. And I'm like, well, maybe it's not railroading. Maybe it is actually makes sense. How am I, a human, gonna stop a fucking giant thing like this?
Sure.
Unless you're clever, it's not gonna happen.
You will be also, but it's not even about being clever. It's that you're not a level 20 monk. Beauregard is a level 20 monk,
so which is somehow do it.
What is the capstone feat? Yeah, she didn't try. She gave it because the every indication by the DM was that no, you can't try. It's impossible. So that's I
Yeah.
understand that sort of that thing. When the DM looks at you like that, you're just like, okay, I'll step back off this. I get it. It's sort of one of those unwritten rules that you just, like I said at the beginning, yet the beginning of this live show, I'm sure they had the chat about if I say something, don't argue with it. Let's not waste time. And if you say something, you want to try something, I'm just going to let you do it. This is one of those moments where I feel like he should have said, okay, this is how you do it. Or this is why it doesn't happen because of this. So there isn't that hitch in the show. That's all.
I still liked the way he said it.
I'm sure you did. I did too until I started thinking about it, and I'm like, "You're being a bit of a dick, Mr. Mercer. Why would you do it?" So yeah.
It's like it reminds me of when I'm in a
to
classroom with
focus.
students and I'll say something like, "Can you explain to me why this would make a difference?" You know, just like talking to students or whatever. And they're like, "Huh?" We're like, "Exactly." So fuck off. I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah, I think also I really like the way, if we can just jump ahead, I really like the way it ended. I like the way that they were sort of like, holy fuck, we should find out what's going on with the moon. Ah, damn it, we got to fight. We got to figure out other stuff first. There's not just Trandikithon is now going to be a problem, but there are others, and we're probably going to have to deal with that as well. So I like how that's going. So a lot of the fan service, a lot of the fan theories.
It's all fan service,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, sorry, I said that wrong. The fan theories are that now the Mighty Nine is going to partner up with Bell's Hells. I think that's off the table. I think what we're going to do is we might get another Mighty Nine one shot at some point where they're going after other escaped somethings. Which would be great. Great.
Not Tarv. Tal. I think he said that extremely well as Caduceus.
Yes.
He was like, "Hey, you know what? Like, there is this bigger thing that's happening right now, but let's attack something that we can actually have control over."
Right.
You know.
Right.
And then I think he kind of made it kind of real. Like, that's why we're doing this and they're doing that. Like, we're level 20 motherfuckers, and they're level 15 now.
Bell's Hells?
13.
11, I think.
11.
12.
Even less. God, it's been too long, man.
I forget now. I'm not even sure what level they're at. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's 11, maybe 12, but we haven't seen a level up video. Yeah.
No. We just saw one not too long ago. Bell's Hells, level 11. Yeah, level 11 at level 73. So they're level 11. They haven't gone to level. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but man, there's a little bit to be said about that too. At the end of the fucking current episode we're talking about, but
12 will be a big jump for them when they get to 12. They get the ASI at that point. Huh?
What's ASI?
Ability score increase. So they get a +2 to whatever they want. So
they have 2-point increase, or they have to do 2 for one thing.
1 and 1, or 2 on 1.
So 2 allocated to whatever.
2 allocate 2 points. Yeah, to whatever they want. It's a really big jump for it happens 4, 8, 12, 16. It's a big.
All the even numbers are the jumps, right? I mean, they get the +1 for every even number, right?
4, 8, 12, 16.
Yeah, all the even numbers, right?
Well,
I mean, like for like if it's a strength save or whatever, you know, if you're 13,
it varies by,
you just go for the 12,
class,
right?
Yeah, more.
But if you get
less,
+1, it's like, oh, we get another +1 because you're at 14 now, or whatever, right? Like you don't get a bonus at 13 or 17,
or 14 or 15.
That's not how I understand it. What?
8, you get a +2 at 4, you get a +2 at 8, you get a +2 at 12, you get a +2 at 16.
I thought it was +1 for like at 10 there's +0, at 12 +1, 14 +2, etc.
No.
Okay, man, I'm fucking way off here.
4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
Huh. Okay. Wow, I was way off.
Yeah.
Still, now.
It's okay. It's all good.
How many years? And I still don't know this shit.
That's a small point, though. It doesn't matter. It's not. You don't need to know that one. It's just like it's one of those things where I'm the old school type of gamer, like D&D player, where I'm mapping things out. I'm like at level 8, I'm going to do this. At level 9, I'm going to do that. At level 10, I'm going to do this. At level 11, depending how it goes, where things go, I might go this way or that way. I'll often have my character mapped out like 5, 6 levels ahead. So I know where I'm going to go and what spells I'm going to choose or what abilities I'm going to take, or if the DM allows, what
You're
feats I'm gonna
fairly
take.
seasoned. I mean, you taste like tacos in your off days.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Hey,
in the right
let's
packet.
unless do you have more to you got more to say? I would love to move on to 77.
About the live show, jeez, what else is there to say? First half, I was just beside myself the first time, you know,
Same,
because
same.
there was a lot of fan service because I was excited about watching them play.
100%. Again,
Second
like I
half was
said,
just all battle, and it was like
mostly,
my second time
mostly.
watching it. It was actually quite well done, you know,
Mhm.
and roles were surprising, especially that last one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. Like
sure.
I I I I enjoyed it, but not quite as much as I expected.
Okay.
I'll put it at that, you know, because like
Okay.
watching like when we were in campaign 2 and watching like Dallin's Closet and then you know like
Mm-hmm.
Search for Grog, Search for Bob,
Mm-hmm.
those ones were epic
Yes.
revisitings of the first
Yes.
campaign, you know, and
Yeah.
this one was it was great, but it wasn't at the
It wasn't the
epic
quick.
level.
Yeah, and if we remember, it felt the same with Ukatoa, the Ukatoa show as well, right? It didn't feel quite as big as it could have been, and
Yeah,
there's a bit of a I think there's a bit of a heightened expectations. It doesn't live up to the hype, right?
it was
It's you're
hugely hyped
yeah,
for expectation
yes,
because it's been
yes,
4 years since we've had a
right.
live show, so yeah,
It feels yeah, it felt that a little bit like that to me too. That's
yeah,
fine. It was great. I loved it. I
didn't quite
laughed.
live up, yeah.
Yeah, but
Which,
it was good.
but again, fantastic. Go and check it out if you haven't. I mean,
Hmm.
now that we spoiled everything for you, but check it out for
I'm
sure
gonna
if
go.
you
I
haven't
can't wait to go
already.
back and watch it when I get some fucking time. I don't know when that's ever gonna happen. Maybe soon. I don't know. We'll see.
Once you get this school stuff taken care of. Um, yeah. Other than that, no. I mean, like
Okay.
it's the biggest crowd that they've ever had in their
Yep.
lives.
Hmm,
You know,
hmm.
I can't help but think like as a musician, the biggest crowd I've ever had was 700 people, and I was opening up for Minus the Bear. Yeah, on my
Mm.
campus. They're like, "Hey, do you guys want to open?" We're like, "Yes." We didn't see any money from it, but it was 700 people that we played
That's
in front
cool.
of, which means like if 30 of them are cheering, you hear 30 people cheering for your
Yeah.
songs, which is
Yeah.
a lot of people
It
for, you
feels
know,
like it
small
for sure.
bands.
For sure.
But, you know, and a crowd like that, like 12.5, as Daniel, what's his face said, was like, yeah, this is my only chance, the comedian in the beginning and the guest
Right. Right. Right.
character.
Right. Right.
He's like, this is
When
the
am I
only
ever gonna
chance
get?
I'm ever
Yeah.
going to play this. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
Exactly.
he's feeling 12,500 people, which is way bigger
So
than
cool.
any shows he's ever done.
So cool. I know.
Yeah. That's amazing for
Yeah.
that
What a
person
wa-
in particular, you know.
Mhm.
And I hope that his career launches from there.
I hope so too. It'd be good to see.
Yeah.
So let's move on to number 77, the
Yeah, let's do it.
promise and the price.
The Promise and the Price. Is that what you said?
Shall we do some rollies? I got a couple things I'd like to say about 77.
Yeah, you're going to win a lot of these because my Ford die won this
We'll see.
rollie.
We'll see.
Yeah, I've got a few.
Okay. Ready to go?
Oh, man. Oh, shit.
5.
I'm going to go ahead and just say that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Katoa. I'm going to start with the math thing here.
Oh boy, really? You're jumping right to the end?
What?
Wow. Bold move, Cotton. All right. All right. I thought we're gonna ease our way gently into this, but let's go.
I'm just yeah. Like the first half. Oh man, I might need
Okay,
some
you're
reminders
backtracking.
about
Okay,
the
I
first
like
half.
that. All right.
But like you've only seen it the one time, right?
Yeah.
And I
Well, no,
just saw
twice. I watched bits and selectively watched it twice. I watched it once and then I watched bits and pieces a second time.
Okay. And I just saw the live show, so I'm a little confused
Yes.
about the first half.
It's okay.
The first half
Was the witch's
okay.
adventure.
They went out for their excursion.
Yes,
in
the
the night.
entire first half was 3 characters.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
And the
I
rest of them
loved
are
that
just
shit.
like
loved it. Yeah. No, it was great. And they loved it too. All of them were like, we have a front row seat to fucking amazing RP and action and stuff. They loved it. You could tell. The Travis and Tal and Sam and Liam, they all fucking loved it. It was great.
yeah. I mean, imagine.
I would love to be in that position, to watch the rest of the other people at my table play an amazing game where I get to just, this is so cool. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. What do you want to say about the math? Go.
And also imagine this: you're a professional D&D player, and your job right now. Let's say like we're playing a song, and my job for 30
can
seconds
dream.
is to sit back and just go on the kick drum. We're like, dude, that's easy money.
Mhm.
But it's not about the money, folks. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
what do you
go
got?
right into this math thing. Like, okay,
Go.
so the first half was like, okay, there was story based, and I have more to say about it later, but it's not this point right here. And then the second half, I was they started in on the sledding thing.
That
You
was
know, it's
kind of
like
that
we
was
got this
cute.
walk,
Yep.
we got
Yep.
this grease, and like he
Weird.
went and made a toboggan for
Weird.
you know, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so they're gonna do this thing that they used to do a lot in the first
Mhm.
campaign, second campaign a little bit, where they're just gonna they're gonna have a, oh, we went to this carnival and we're gonna roll dice for how well you did and stuff like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
and I was immediately like, dude, it's been 3 weeks. I
Yeah.
kind of want something
Give
substantial.
me some substance. Give me
Yeah.
some substance. Right.
And I was like, fuck, how much time are we gonna spend on fucking sliding down a mountain?
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, make an athletics roll, you know? I was like, all right. So I kind of tuned out a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but then they came back,
Mm-hmm.
and I was stoked. The way, as a math person, the way I see this episode was like the beginning was like, okay, we're back. And then we went to the break, and I was like, all right, we got some lore, we got some information, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half was like, all right, we got this sledding, we got this, and then it just went
Yeah.
crazy up.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have written, all I have for this note is y equals -1 over x. That's the note that I wrote down. Can you picture the graph?
Uh-huh. I can.
Because 1 over x, it's
I know.
this way. If
I
you
know.
negate it, it goes
Yep. It goes the other way.
this way. That's hard to
Yes.
do with your hands.
I know what you're doing. One goes this way, the other goes that way. If you negate it, goes the other. They go the
Yeah.
opposite way.
So like,
I know the math. I know the graph.
it wasn't necessarily flat. Of course, it wasn't flat. There were
No.
ups and downs, but then at the very end, right before it got the very end, it just went
Yes.
way up, and
Well,
then it
that's-
stopped. We don't know if it's at infinity or not. We don't know where it is. I mean, you might have theories, but
Well,
this episode was hugely intense at the very end.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, the whole beginning, it was just like, okay.
I have some math things to say about that, but go ahead, because the mechanic D&D doesn't work that way, which is weird, but it's true.
In what way? I mean,
Well, go ahead.
As a
So
viewer, I'm watching this, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay. I'm like, I'm a little upset. I'm like, I need more.
look,
I want more. And at the
couple-
very end, I got everything I wanted.
Yes, because a couple of things happened.
That's
at that
about it.
point.
That's about it. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Oh, that's it.
To bring, to.
Oh, okay.
To
So
be Forrest
here's
Gump for a second. That's all I have to say about that.
here's my big yes and for that then, because they're in D&D, the math, especially 5th edition, the math gets very, very probabilistically. Sure. I don't know what that word is, but it's sure.
Ballistic?
Yes, that's where it went. The probability suddenly gets wonky because the advantage, disadvantage, modifiers, et cetera, and magic. So we've got.
You're talking about the very end when
I'm talking about the
they
very
have
end.
10
I'm talking about
rounds of this shit?
The 10 rounds.
Okay.
That's really what I'm talking about. Is that there was only really fuckery for the first 5. After that, it was inevitable one way or the other. Once they realize the first 2 rounds are fucking nuts. 3, 4, 5, they're getting their shit sorted. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is black and white.
And we left on 10 at the end of 10.
Yeah,
that's where the episode left.
Because it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
And
like it's
we're going
done.
to start that. I can't wait for the next episode because
okay. So there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles, I wrote down the rolls.
Wow, look at you, man.
23.
There's a reason I do this with you.
These were Ashton's rolls. So Ashton gets a +8, right, for his con bonus. We learned that. That was one thing I had no idea, but that's what we learned because he says it at one point. So he's got a +8. 23, 11, 21, 17, 10, 16, 16, 21, 27, 24.
And Matthew said that it was going up. The DC was going up.
So if we're just going to talk about that for a quick second, he said that it started at 10, went to 12, went to 15.
Yes, that's what he said. Yes.
No idea when, at what point, but which sort of makes me think he was kind of making it up as he was going because he didn't see this coming.
I got that impression.
He actually openly admits to Taliesin, because Taliesin says at one point, he's like, I love that you knew that I was going to do this. And Matt's like, I did not know you were going to do this. He's like, I warned you. I warned you all about this. Yeah, exactly. So it's like Taliesin really, I think there's a lot to unpack here. Taliesin genuinely thought that Matt wanted him to do it. And that when he didn't realize it, I think Taliesin went, oh, I fucked up. Okay, yeah, my backup character is got it, and I'll be bringing them in at that point.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and it's like Taliesin at these last 5 rolls. So it's 23 success, 11 at that point. It's a 10.
Oh, that was a success at that time.
So it had the second roll was an 11. So those first 2 rolls had to be a 10. I don't know what it is after that. It doesn't really matter because then it's a 21, then it's a 17. Round 5, it's a 10. It's a 12 or a 15 at that point, likely a 12. And then it probably goes 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, 12, 15, 15, 15, 15. That's my guess, is what Matt set the DC at. Absurdly low. It should have been higher.
I think it should have been a lot higher.
The DC should have started at 15 and gone to 20.
I think he should have died.
He did die.
Well,
he died at round 5.
But he did. I mean, as far as ultimately, I think he should have died.
Okay, so the Ring of Temporal Salvation.
Not that I wanted him to.
Your character dies and then reappears within 5 feet of an unoccupied space of where the event happened. That's not Ashton anymore. That's a different version of Ashton. This is some Rick and Morty shit. This is like C-137 Rick. Kill it. Spoilers to Rick and Morty. Killing another version of himself.
Spoil every show on this show, guys.
And then, do you watch Rick and Morty?
Are you watching The Simpsons right now? We're going to spoil when Apu leaves,
sure.
Okay?
Do you watch Rick and Morty?
I've seen them all, yes.
Okay, so you watched the one last night?
Oh, shit, there's new ones?
With Rick.
I thought he was canceled, man.
No, season 7 started like a month ago. They're on episode 5 already.
I thought he was that fucking, Hannibal 2 fucking
Okay, so
prisoner.
Justin Roiland got fired, and they have brought new voice actors in for Rick and Morty both. So there's 2 new voice actors. That's what happened. So anyway.
I mean, everybody can do Rick. Everybody can do Morty, right?
Rick going out and destroy. So Beth and Summer both are not C-137 Rick's daughter and granddaughter. They're different. They're from different dimensions. He's brought them in as different.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know about this.
This is what happened to Ashton. The Ring of Temporal Displacement brings in another version of Ashton from another place, Dunamis style. So the Ashton that they've been traveling with does not exist anymore. This is another one from a different fucking thing. It's reappeared. So that being said, that's a whole other fucking ball of yarn to unravel. The next 2 rolls after that are both 16s. Those should have been deaths as well, in my opinion. He should have been disintegrated.
It should have been 20 at least. The DC.
At that point, it should have been 20. It should have been 20 right up to the very end. I'm just saying, and most people agree with me that Matt probably made those with. So here's my take on it. He does this alone because that's fucking Ashton to a T. Anybody who says it isn't is wrong. Ashton goes in and does this alone with Fern. The rest of the party doesn't do it. But if they had, they could have given him resistance. They could have given him bless. They could have given him help, which gives him advantage on rolls. They could have done all kinds of stuff, which would have been it would have been the easiest challenge ever. He never would have failed it. If he had had a bless and that +8 and some other who knows what else. The last 5 rolls are all done with Aura of Life and the whatever the spell by Fern, and then whatever the spell was that FCG, it escapes me now, whatever that spell was, where he gets a D, like a +1 hit point right away back. It's just a rinse and repeat and a rinse and repeat and a rinse and repeat.
There was Death Ward. And
the Death Ward. That's right. All of those things. As soon as those things start coming in, Talison's just trying to beat that DC. There's no danger. There's no anything. It's all just, okay, got to beat the DC. Got to beat the DC. And with a +8, it's pretty easy. It's not difficult. You just got to roll
well, I
higher
mean,
than a 7.
to beat a 15, but
Yeah.
maybe Matthew wants something to
Well,
happen, you know. What the shit was I about to say?
so I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna talk about that sort of math, and we're gonna talk about what that actually means, not that big of a deal, honestly. It had a lot of consequences,
Oh,
and I think Taliesin kind of realized that, oh, if I roll shitty and then I'm over, it's game over for this character. But it was an inevitable, just black and white, just roll. There was no real like, it felt the first 5 rounds felt scary. The last 5 rounds, I was watching it like, okay.
it felt a little too easy.
I see what's going on here. You figured this out, and they should have done. It should have been that way through the entire thing. It should have been that way from round 1. It shouldn't
one
have
way
been
or the
scary,
other, super scary the whole time, or be
Yes.
like, okay, no, it makes sense.
but controlled, as opposed to everybody freaking the fuck out, which was fun. But it took a little bit of the. It was like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Oh, it's actually not that scary. If he fails, he fails.
It was a
Yeah.
little bit like, oh, okay, well, shit.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, like slightly disappointing, you know.
A little bit. It would have been a lot more fun, I think, consistent all the way through, if he had gone like, okay, guys, I'm going to do this. Fern doesn't want it, which is my next point. So I think we should roll these here.
Okay. Before we roll,
Oh,
this might be kind of saying the same
Go.
thing you're doing. Should I go
Probably.
ahead and say it?
no, let's do rollies.
Okay. I
Save
feel
it
like
for
I'm gonna
rollies.
forget it.
You're gonna win.
Well, I'm
You're
using
gonna
my
win.
4 die.
I rolled a 2.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
You're gonna roll a 1.
13. Okay.
Yeah, you win. So go.
All right. I'm gonna
Doesn't that
use
feel
this
better?
or one of these.
Say the thing you wanted to say.
I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was.
Oh no.
That's the problem. If I wait like 4 seconds, I might lose it because I got all these other points too.
4-second Tim.
So 4
That's
second
what she
Tim.
said.
That's, that's what they call me every time they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, that's
gone.
not helping.
It's gone. We're talking about the inevitability of the shard going into Ashton.
DC. Oh,
DC going-
here's what it is. What seemed to be completely forgotten during that whole sequence was Fern was like, I'm gonna jump in and try to take it off of him.
the harness. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Ugh," but in the middle of a spell, you
could've
gotta
made it
be
worse.
really
Could have
careful.
made it worse.
You know, and then as rolls kept on going, people seemed to kind of fucking forget that she had made that decision.
Yeah.
It's kind of like she went in there like this, and there was nothing really said, as far as I remember, that there was like, oh no, and then she just stops.
Somebody said, "Are you sure that's what you want to do? You want to do that?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't know."
And that's as far as it went.
As far as
And then they just let it go.
yeah, and they just let it go because I think that was probably the right move. Although it was yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on there that made things very weird.
I mean, if like that Spider-Man movie with the No Way Home or the multi-dimensions where the 3 Spider-Men showed up, right?
Yes.
Like don't interrupt my spell. Doctor Strange was saying, it's like, no, you're doing it again. And then the 3rd time he did it, he was like, all right, now it's all fucked up, man.
Yes.
And it fucked up the rest of the movie, right?
That's right.
Spoilers everywhere, everybody. You know, it's like just like everybody seems to understand. Don't interrupt a spell because who knows what's going to happen at that point.
Right.
So I feel like they all just kind of collectively let that go.
Yes. 100%.
And they're just like,
I
okay.
completely agree with that, and that it made the most sense. I think in that situation,
It did, yeah. You know, but like the fact that like it wasn't addressed at all, like nobody really said like, no, don't do that. It didn't really seem to go with the flow of the rest of the rest of the process. You know, because they're like, wait, what about her trying to tear it off? You know, and then Imogen coming in, being like, I just watched the fucking live thing. Imogen coming in, being like, no, we have to stop this because he's getting hurt, and like his ear fell off, and then like something else, and then his arm
falls off with the ring of fire resistance.
And then I don't remember if it was the very last or in the middle where like he
chunks
of
of shoulder,
and then like now he's back together or whatever, and she's trying to use telekinesis to hold him together.
Yep.
And it just, I feel like a lot of things are kind of let go, left in the air, But there was just so much happening. I don't.
Matt was laser focused on Taliesin bringing in his new character. That's why. You could see it in his eyes that he was like, this party is about to go to the moon and they're going to lose their tank. Taliesin's backup character is not a tank. How am I going to deal with that on the moon?
So you're
that's what Matt was thinking.
That we've killed Ashton. That's what you're saying.
That's what Matt was dealing with at that moment, where he was thinking that this party has to go to the moon. The only way they're going to survive at the moon is with Ashton, because he's a barbarian and he's going to absorb enough damage with his rages, and they need another fighter like Orym. And maybe Taliesin's character is not like that. Backup character is not that. I think Matt was going through a lot of what ifs in his brain, and that's why a lot of that other stuff got put to the wayside. I think that's my sort of theory on it. Anyway,
it seems like you're pretty sold on this.
I am,
and I haven't thought about this for a moment. Like I
thought
that either Ashton dies, but then he comes back because he's absorbed this shard, and now he's going to be fine, or that
he fails,
character's
he's gone. Yeah, he fails, he's gone. Matt was very clear. And not only is Taliesin gone, but both shards are gone.
But they didn't fail.
If they failed.
But they didn't, right?
Well, no. But that's what I'm saying is that's what Matt was thinking.
Right.
He's like, if he fails this, they're going to lose Ashton, which is really important for my plans going forward when they get to the moon. And both shards are gone, which is really important for my plans going forward when they get to the moon. How do I deal with that? So the thing about Imogen and the thing about Fern and the thing about Orym, he washed that away. He wasn't paying attention to it because he was too busy dealing with other thoughts in his head, like, oh God, how do I deal with this? That's my thought. That's my theory on it.
You won that one, right? Can I yes and with this?
No, you did. My yes and. Go ahead.
But did I win or did you win?
You won.
I won? Oh, shit. Yeah. Fuck. I'm just going to continue, even though it's not a yes and. I'm just going to add to this because it's relevant.
Do it.
Matthew was visibly nervous.
Yeah.
I've never seen him like this before.
No.
He's like leaning forward on his elbows, like watching people make their rolls, and he's like, shit. This had consequences for him as a DM.
That's what I just said, man.
I've never
that's what
seen
I'm saying.
That fucking look in his face.
He was like, holy fuck, I'm gonna have to rewrite all of this shit. Like, this is not good.
He's busy enough.
I have to. I mean, if Ashton dies here, this shard goes away. The spark goes away. All of that disappears. I'm gonna have to rewrite stuff. Like, what are they gonna do? He was going through a ton of scenarios in his head if this goes horribly wrong, because he didn't think this was. I think part of it. I think there's a couple of things going on. There's a bunch of things going on. He didn't think Ashton was actually going to do it. He wasn't ready for him to do it. He wasn't ready for the consequences if they failed. I think he would turn white at a couple of points. Like, this is what am I going to do here? This is awful.
And maybe that's why he had that DC at 15 instead of raising it to 20, like it should have been. I think 20 to 25 even.
I think he wasn't ready for it, so he made it up on the fly, not really thinking it through that, okay, well, Ashton's got to... The people on the internets did the math for it. I'm not super convinced about how they arrived at like these 37% figures, but it seemed to be, most people seem to be at 30 to 50% success rate.
Okay.
People far smarter at statistics than I am went through it roll by roll by roll, and if the DC, some people on Reddit did like 8 different tables. If the DC was this and then this and then this, or if it was this and this and this, or like sliding scale of the DC, going through all the permutations, doing all of the math with all of the dice rolls and all of the modifiers, then they're like, and it works out to be somewhere in the 30 to 50% success rate.
30 to
so I'm not
50.
sure how they get to that. It's the different numbers. There's different people getting different numbers, doing the math different ways. Because
we don't still have crit roll stats. That sounds a little bit above crit roll stats.
It is. It is a lot because there's a lot of unknowns.
They're calculating instead of just keeping track.
Exactly. They're calculating. So there's a different there's because and there's unknowns. So they're throwing in variables that are slightly unknown, like modifiers that we may not know about, and DCs we may not know about, and stuff like that. So I don't really know.
Speculative statistics. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of speculative,
as opposed to what we definitively did in our last episode.
Yeah. Very much.
Where we talked about like how close things were to actually rolling zero.
Yeah. So which is real numbers, and these numbers are more real like statistics. We don't really know, so we can theorize what they might be. I'm going to say one thing if I can. We're
already close to an hour, dude.
I know. That's all good. Don't worry. So this will be quick, because it's a point. Not really a thing, but all of this entire thing we've been talking about from 77, which is the final scene. It starts way back at the 3.5 hour point. When you remember you said they go, oh yeah, they went sledding and they did this other thing and they did blah blah with the walk and blah blah blah. They also did something else. I'm
like, oh man.
After the sledding, Fern and Ashton go to the clock tower. Imogen goes to the Dawnfather Temple. Orem goes to Gilmore's. Ashton and Fern, I forget what Chetney and the others did, but
Imogen went to the Raven Queen.
Sorry, the Raven Queen Temple. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Ashton and Fern go to the clock tower. That's where this all began, because at 3 hours 23 minutes 56 seconds,
timestamp give.
Fern says, "I do think it should go to you."
No.
All of it started there. Fern didn't want it.
Yeah.
It all starts right there. And like 2 or 3 minutes later, when Ashton says, "Yeah, I don't think we should tell the others. I don't think I don't want them to be there. I think it should only be you." Laura Bailey, sitting between them, looks over and goes, "Mouths."
Of course she does.
She's like, "What the fuck, this shady motherfucker?" And I went, "Holy crap, that's amazing." Like, she is fully upset about what they're doing. But, let's not metagame this. Let's play it out in RP and be totally cool about it. Good job. Awesome job. I love it. I think it's hilarious when Ashton does all of this and everybody gets upset that he went and did all of this. When, what did Jester do in the Hag Hut? Oh, she took everybody's agency away from them by using the Dust of Deliciousness and then casting Modify Memory. If that roll fails, they're in a full-on battle against a fucking hag that probably could have wiped the floor with them. What we can go through campaign all the past two campaigns.
At that time they were like level 11 about what they're at right now.
Yeah, about the same. It would have been fucking terrible consequences. But Jester being Jester does this thing and everybody applauds it. We get Grog with fucking Craven Edge. That almost kills him.
He rolled a 1 though.
Same, doesn't matter. Same shit. If Ashton rolled a 1, it would have been the same thing, right? Like, who knows? Like those sorts of things. Nobody really blinks an eye at it. But it seems like this is a little bit of a double standard this way. Fern said she didn't want it at all, and let her play that character the way it is. So where's it going to go? Inevitably, it's going to go into Ashton. That's the way it's got to be.
Did she say, like, I don't want it, I think you should have it?
Yes.
Because, I mean,
yes,
we all know that they were like, no, the two shards should not be in the same place. They should be in two different places and work together or something.
Yes.
Or maybe that was a metaphor to like, he has one, so let's unite them.
The Tree of Atrophy full on says that. Like,
it says it directly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't like some cryptic bullshit.
It could be. You should be careful if they come close. No, it was like, do not put them in the same body.
That's why. Sorry, not Orm. Yeah. That's why Ashton is probably fucking dead. To put these two fucking things together.
No. Remember the very last thing that happens? He's like, you look down at your arm and there's a new regrown arm there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the last thing he said, like very fucking powerful, muscular arm.
Healed. Yeah. Oh no, he is a superhero. He is a superhero at this point. To get through that, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible.
The DC was too low.
The DC was too low for this. Exactly. It was way too low. He's going to be a monster.
Yeah.
Whatever fucking boon he gets from this is going to be amazing. He's going to just wade through everybody. It's going to be epic to watch, but the DC was too low for it. It was a little bit too easy. That's the point.
I mean, a little too easy. Cuz the things that they did they went through a lot, and they went in without a full night, without a long rest, didn't they?
Oh no, they had a long rest. They got the long rest
did?
right at the end. Yeah, the break.
Okay, my mistake.
Yeah, they got it right at the break because remember at the beginning when Orem was like, "Okay, I'd like to have a little scenelit, please." Orem would turn. Right. It's like, "Oh yeah, I get my long rest." Okay,
that's perfect. Right. And he went to the Slayer's cake and all that shit. Okay, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, but they were running out of spells because, like, the rounds were just happening. It's like it takes a minute to do this, so let's go 6 seconds per 6 seconds.
Oh, it was an hour. It was 10 rounds were basically an hour of game time. More actually.
Hold up. No, I'm fucked up. Because I know that, like, to destroy a being takes an hour, but to destroy or to absorb an
hour of game time, not an hour of sorry, an hour of real life time. An hour at the table, not in watching. An hour of watching time. Okay. Yes, sorry. It takes 1 minute to absorb that
okay,
artifact.
Yeah, and that thing was a minute. Yeah.
Yes.
And that was something that a very avid listener brought up when I was like, I don't think artifacts can be absorbed. I forgot the name of you. Yeah. Sorry, buddy, but we can check again. And because they said maybe that's where Tim was confused, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay, right. Yep. Yeah, because this thing is supposed to be an artifact, and this thing's not supposed to really be able to do that. But then also, it's another shard that's the fucking marriage shard of this other shard that's already imbued.
I was genuinely nervous when Matt said, "Yeah, the shard itself loses the light and it crumples and shatters." I was like, "Oh Jesus!
Did we just lose this shit?
Yeah. We just lose a fucking Titan that's gone now? Because if Ashton fails all of this, there's no backup. There's no plan B here."
There's not, and there might be. Well, fuck.
Hey, listen, man. We're at like a full hour. Do you want to pull the plug on this and talk more about stuff? Because I think I got a couple more things to say. We can get through them quickly.
Yeah, if we get through them in the next 10 minutes, what do you say?
Sure, let's go.
Let's do a rollie and see how it happens.
Okay.
All right, let's do another rollie.
Jesus fuck, 3.
Man. Oh, that's a 2, not a 10.
Oh, wow. I rolled a 3, a 2. No, sorry, I rolled a 5, a 2, and a 3.
And this thing never wins. And I started with a nat 20.
I have a question for you. I'm going to stay off that final thing because I think I've sort of thought it through to death, and I'd like to move on from it and go back a little bit.
I think as soon as the next episode starts, I think we're going to get a lot more answers.
We'll get a lot more answers. I think it's going to be a little bit more clear, although I sort of feel like, anyway, whatever. I want to know the witch's adventure when they go through the castle and they meander through and they end up at the Derolo parents' bedroom, which has not been used. It's covered in dust. So the Percy and Vex have not been using this. They've blocked it off. They don't go there anymore. It's unused. It's been left the way it was.
They told their daughter, stop going in there. They blocked it off with brick wall.
He blocked it off. Yeah, now go see your mother. Right. So they've gone in there.
Tell your mother what you did. What'd you say?
Laudna, go
apologize to your mother.
Go apologize to your mother. That's right. So fucking brilliant. I love it. Love that nice, beautiful little.
That was great. That was great.
They open up the secret door. Laudna knows where the secret door is. That opens up and it shows the brick wall and it says on the brick wall. And then Fern does the stone shape and they go inside and they find the laboratory. Laudna knows everything that's in the laboratory. Is very familiar with it. How? That's my question. How is she so familiar with this?
Did he make her roll for it?
No. So I don't understand where any of this came from. I don't understand how she knew to go there. I don't understand how she knew there was a laboratory down there. And Matt kept saying, you're very familiar with this. You know about this. You've been here before. You've been here many times.
Huh.
I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, did I miss something? And then the only thing I could think of is that what was one of the announcements at the very beginning of this episode? The ad read. New book.
This is super meta.
New book. Laudna's new book.
Oh, where it tells you stuff about
it's got to be like this adventure has to be. Because and there's another little. There's actually, now that I'm thinking this through, suddenly I'm connecting dots here in real time.
Mm.
Her new form of dread.
It's new. It's
new.
changed.
It's changed. It's not the tree anymore. Now it is Delilah at her shoulders, over top of her, right?
Like the intro shows now.
Like the intro thing.
For a flash, yeah.
A flash, right. The idea that, and she's like, I don't know. And everyone's like, you know what this is. And she sort of laughs it off. She did know. This is meta. This is about the book. It has to be, right?
The chronology of it is a little confusing.
Marisha did know about all of this stuff, and that's why she wanted to do the adventure, because she knew the book was coming, and she knew the book would explain these things, and she can give little teasers. She's the creative content director, or whatever it's called. She of course. No, I never even thought about this. I'm literally putting this together now.
I can see it.
Right? That's got to be it.
I can see the sparks connecting right now. Yeah.
Am I right?
Or the book's coming out, and at the end of the last episode, which was recorded however many weeks ago.
Sure, we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I'm thinking about the chronology of it, like, okay, so back in the day before, or at the time that the Derolos were slaughtered and taken over.
Right.
She was killed. She was put on the tree, but she was on the tree.
But that's after. That's when Vox Machina gets there.
Right. So before then, she must have been working with Delilah. And that's when she was aware of this place. Because maybe the parents were slaughtered and she was like, okay, go in here. And then she knows about this place because of that. And then afterwards, she was put on the tree, hung,
I don't
then
know.
brought back
The
to
chronology
life.
doesn't. The chronology doesn't make sense to me, because when Vox Machina arrives, she's
on the tree.
On the tree, and then Vox Machina liberates Whitestone.
Yeah.
So
it has to happen before then.
It has to have happened between when Percy gets chased out of Whitestone and that point.
Yeah. Which is a fair amount of time.
It is a lot of time. So was Laudna... We always were told that these people were just the people that were put on the Sun Tree were just taken from the village
and
invited to a nice dinner and then executed.
Murdered and put on the tree. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we were told. So there's clearly more to the story than that. Right?
I'm guessing it's in the book.
I'll buy the book.
No?
I will definitely buy the book. I bought Kith and Kin, and it was great. It was a really good story.
You were saying that. Yeah.
Vax and Vex story was excellently well written.
The writing, the writing was good.
Good, yeah, good high fantasy, proper, good storytelling, good writing. Yeah, combat was pretty good. Not quite at the level like R.A. Salvatore level, but it was quite good. R.A. Salvatore's writing about Dritz Jordan and the other Forgotten Realm stuff is the in my opinion the pinnacle of combat writing. He writes so beautifully in combat. Just the eloquence of it all, but it's not quite there. But the combat's still pretty good, still written well, and good story. Yeah,
geez. Side note: I just started watching The Witcher on Netflix.
Oh, cool!
And the first episode,
I tried.
I never played the games, but the first episode when they had the battle at the end, I think that was the pinnacle of battle of anything I've seen.
Really.
Yeah.
More than like The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies, or the really, wow.
The skill involved from the actors and actresses and everybody, and just the tracking shots, and like having them do. Yeah, I was like, I didn't expect some of the moves, and it was just really impressive to me.
Cool.
But maybe if I watch it again, I might change my mind. But
yeah, sure.
I was really impressed with that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's me. I'm done. I'm out.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe let's just do one more and then call it, because it is getting kind of late here.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking with okay, so they have an animated thing coming out, right? For the Mighty Nine.
Yeah, well,
it's in production.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. What I loved when fucking Orem went to the Slayer's Cake. He went there and he was like, can I get like, I didn't expect him to say 50 fucking pastries and an apple pie for myself. And they were like, you want it in a day or a week or like, He's like, oh no, as soon as possible. You know, it's for Allura, whatever. And they're like, oh
Yeah.
shit. And, you know, that's when it jumped in. And the way Laura put it, 5 pigeons flew in. Like,
meta
get it delivered.
pigeons, yeah.
Get it delivered.
Yep.
And
So
I
good.
immediately went to like an animated situation where there's just a show and like there's no camera on the pigeons. It's just, you know, pigeons show up as they do. You know,
Yes, they do.
you know, and they just show up and there's like a and then slightly behind it there's a get it delivered. And they just like throw that into an animated episode. Just a little Easter egg. I would love that so much.
That'd be pretty fun.
Because like the pigeons that show up every fucking morning in outside my window at 6:30, you know, they wake me up with their little calm. I just open up the shades and they fly off, and then I go back to bed. But I have to get up to do it. I fucking hate these motherfuckers. But if they just put this in there as metagame, like 5 pigeons show up, just get it delivered. Just like show it like the boner in The Little Mermaid, you know, when they get married or whatever.
The trident or the castle and whatever. Yeah.
Just throw it in as like a little thing that like people might not notice unless they know the show, you know. Yeah, that's all. I would just love to see that because the pigeons are a big part of the show. But
they are. Well, it's a big part of. It's a big part of every game. It's every D&D table has them. They don't call them pigeons, but they do. A lot of tables do now because they have Critical Role. But as long as I've been a part of it, there's been fucking metagaming pigeons at every table. They're always there.
I think it's a big component of most games. It's like, hey, that's table talk, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple more, but they're
I had a couple of other things to talk about too, but it's not.
They're basically evergreen.
Yeah, kind of. I have one last quick little thing to say. After this witch's adventure, I've just written down. Laudna has fully accepted that Delilah is part of her now. Is this a long game or is this real?
Well,
is she playing a long game here?
She keeps saying, "Don't listen to her. She's lying."
Yep.
So I don't know if I agree that she's accepted it. Unless she's in denial.
Yeah. I don't know. Time will tell.
Because like Delilah says, like, in order to kill me, you have to kill her. We're tied together, right? So...
Already died once. She's already died twice.
Yeah, but she's always come back. And Laudna's died once and came back.
Well, Matilda died once, and then Laudna died once. So she's died twice.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
But also, like in the Harry Potter books, you know, they were saying that Harry Potter's death, you know, depends on Voldemort's death.
Right.
Same kind of situation.
Yes.
Turns out that wasn't true. And maybe Matthew's like, oh, that was a good story. I'm going to steal it. Perhaps.
Yeah.
But who knows? Time will tell, I guess. But it doesn't seem that important. Like Delilah is not an important factor on this thing. Like
no, it's a little bit of a Marisha fun time thing where she gets to play with this little bit of a juxtaposition. It was the same with Ford. It's a warlock thing. My warlock in my D&D, my Curse of Strahd D&D party is dealing with the same thing. It's always a problem with warlocks because your patron is inherently evil, and evil doesn't really work at a table full of good characters.
With any warlock?
Pretty much every warlock has an evil patron.
Inherent with warlocks?
It's just part of the build. It's like they're just sort of always evil. I know there's people out there that don't play it that way and they do that, but in Raw, warlocks just have sort of evil patrons. It's kind of what they do. It doesn't mean that the character is evil. I mean, clearly Ford wasn't evil, but still had Uk'otoa as his patron, who was a fucking evil thing.
I just took a sip, man. Uk'otoa.
Sorry. I mean, and like Laudna Delilah is clearly evil. It's just a thing with warlocks. They always do.
It's that thing with power, you know.
Yeah.
Anybody who's like has that much power is definitely going to be evil. You know, good people don't typically search for power.
The warlock is the anti-paladin, right? Kind of. It's like the paladin has a god that grants them divinity, and they can smite through that god. And then the warlock has a patron, and they can kind of has the hexblade anyway, can do the sort of the same thing that the paladin can do, and to a lesser degree because they have a lot more different options of magic. But it's the counter to it. It's the yin and the yang kind of a thing.
Maybe we can create a new class called the Paladin, where they get their powers from something that's not evil. And they use it for good, but they can still smite, which is
remember Xerxes? No, it was what was the paladin from EXU?
Was it not Xerx?
It was Xerxes. I was right. Yeah, it was him.
I think he's the paladin. Yeah, in EXU Calamity.
He had no divinity. His power came from the people, the population. It was the oath of the. I don't remember what it's called. It's a different oath you take.
He had the son, but he had the husband as well. Yes, is that right? Yes. Is that right?
So he gets his divinity from the people. The people are his god, and metaphorically, that's where he draws his power from. So he was a paladin of the people, not of a god.
Right.
Interesting. Which I think is little idea. It also feels like there could be a warlock that could do that as well, where a warlock could get their powers from something else other than a patron, but. The build. I mean, you can homebrew whatever you want, right? You can sort of do. It's an interesting thought.
But I think that's a fantastic fucking parallel to gods too, because what is a god without followers, right? Which is exactly what Artagan's all about. It's like, hey, the more people I get, the more powerful I get. Holy shit!
Yeah, and then it's like, fuck that. I'm gonna jump into a volcano and whatever.
yeah. And fucking fuck with the moon.
Hey, dude, I got things I got to do here tonight, so I'm gonna have to call this one.
All right, yeah. Jeez, it turns out to be 3 weeks off.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, there's all kinds of shit to talk about.
Yep.
Okay, well, shit, man. Promoting things, I have a show on December 9th. Pretty sure December 9th. Let me check this calendar real quick. It's funny because it only matters right now. Like, in 2 months, people would be like, yeah, December 9th at Tiger Mountain Festival.
Tiger Mountain Festival. That's still the thing, eh? Cool.
Yeah, ShapeMaster's playing up there on that day. And we're also we're looking, not yet confirmed, New Year's Eve show here at the same place called The Roo here in Taichung. So check out Tiger Mountain, check out The Roo on New Year's Eve. That's what I got to promote.
Okay.
And follow Ben Greenspoon on everything social media. Yep. Follow me, drummatucka on I just use what's that thing called?
Instagram.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And follow us there. Get in touch if there's anything.
Yeah, please do. We really appreciate you guys that have asked us questions and told us to talk about the Mighty Nine thing, the reunion show. So if you want to hear things, you want to know more, you want us to talk about shit, just tell us. We'll fucking talk about it. We like it. We dig it.
Put it right in the comments.
We're just critters. We just want to talk about this show that we love.
Yeah. Just join the conversation,
Yeah, be part of the conversation. We'll get you in.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. So, hey, nothing else, bud?
I'm good.
All right. Well, then don't forget to love each other. And is it finally Friday? Woo. Peace, everybody.
Peace, y'all.
Take care. See you next week. Pew.